In the relentless heartbeat of Manhattan's legal district, where towering skyscrapers cast long, jagged shadows over the ambitions of men like Alexander Hargrove, the air hummed with the sharp tang of exhaust fumes mingled with the earthy scent of rain-slicked pavement after a sudden downpour. At 45, Alex was a colossus in his field, a senior partner at Hargrove and Associates, a prestigious firm nestled in the steel canyons of Wall Street. His days were a symphony of high-stakes negotiations, the clack of polished loafers echoing on marble floors, the rustle of crisp legal briefs being shuffled, and the metallic click of fountain pens signing multimillion-dollar settlements. Clients from Fortune 500 companies flocked to him, their colognes, woody ouds and citrusy bergamots, lingering in his office like ghosts of deals sealed. His corner suite on the 45th floor overlooked the Hudson River, where the water shimmered like molten silver under the afternoon sun, its surface rippled by the distant churn of ferry wakes. Yet, for all his professional glory, Alex's personal life was a carefully curated illusion, scented with the faint vanilla warmth of Elena's homemade candles flickering in the evenings. His wife, Elena, 43 and still possessing the luminous beauty that had first ensnared him 2 decades ago at a Columbia University art lecture, where the air had been thick with the oily aroma of fresh paint and turpentine, had traded her dreams for domesticity. Her auburn hair framed a face etched with quiet resilience, her green eyes holding depths of unspoken sacrifices, often glistening with unshed tears in moments of solitude. Once a rising star in the art world, curating exhibits at the Museum of Modern Art amid the sterile scent of polished gallery floors and the subtle hum of hushed conversations, she had stepped back after the birth of their twins, Sophia and Lucas, now energetic 10-year-olds with their father's sharp wit and her artistic soul, their laughter like tinkling bells echoing through the halls. Their Upper East Side brownstone was a haven of elegance. Sunlit parlors adorned with Elena's vibrant abstracts, where the canvas textures begged to be touched, rough under fingertips, a gourmet kitchen filled with the sizzle of garlic sautéing in olive oil and the comforting aroma of baking bread, and a rooftop garden bursting with hydrangeas and roses, their petals velvety soft, releasing sweet, floral perfumes that danced on the breeze. But the cracks had begun to spiderweb through their marriage long before the affair, the silence between them thick and heavy like fog rolling off the East River. Alex's late nights at the office, justified by unavoidable depositions or client crises, had become the norm, the distant honk of taxis below punctuating his absences. Elena, ever the optimist, attributed it to the demands of his career, her hands warm and calloused from brushstrokes as she massaged his tense shoulders, the scent of linseed oil clinging to her skin. "You're building our future," she'd say, pressing a kiss to his forehead as he stumbled in at dawn, reeking of stale coffee laced with the faint, smoky undertone of whiskey and something indefinably foreign, perhaps a woman's perfume, floral and intoxicating. The spark that ignited the inferno was Victoria Lang, a 28-year-old wunderkind who stormed into the firm like a force of nature, her heels clicking sharply against the lobby's granite tiles, carrying the crisp scent of fresh citrus shampoo. Fresh from Harvard Law, where she had graduated summa cum laude amid the musty odor of ancient law tomes in Widener Library, Victoria was ambition personified. Raven hair cascading in glossy waves that caught the light like polished obsidian, piercing sapphire eyes that could unravel a witness with a single glance, and a lithe figure sculpted by early morning runs along the East River, her breath fogging in the chill dawn air. Assigned to Alex's team for a mammoth antitrust case against Technova, a Silicon Valley giant accused of predatory monopolies, she quickly distinguished herself. Her legal briefs were razor-sharp, the paper smooth under fingers as she handed them over, her arguments innovative, blending cutting-edge tech law with psychological insight, delivered in a voice smooth as silk yet edged with steel. Their first intense collaboration unfolded in the firm's war room, a high-tech chamber filled with white boards scrawled in frantic marker, the acrid smell of dry erase ink hanging heavy. And screens flickering with data visualizations, casting a blue glow that hummed softly. It was past midnight, the city below a tapestry of twinkling lights punctuated by the occasional siren wail, when Alex leaned back in his ergonomic chair, rubbing his temples, the leather creaking under his weight. This whistleblower testimony could be our smoking gun, but we need to anticipate their counters, he said, his voice gravelly from hours of debate, the bitter aftertaste of black coffee lingering on his tongue. Victoria, perched on the edge of the table, her pencil skirt riding up slightly to reveal the smooth curve of her thigh, flashed a confident smile, her lips glossed with a subtle cherry tint that hinted at sweetness. I've cross-referenced it with their internal emails. Look here. She pointed to a highlighted section on her tablet, her fingers brushing his as she handed it over, her skin warm and electric, sending a jolt through him like static. The touch lingered a fraction too long, the air between them thickening with unspoken tension, scented faintly with her jasmine perfume. Flattery mingled with genuine admiration, and soon their sessions extended beyond work. Lunches at Le Bernardin, where they dissected case law over seared foie gras that melted buttery on the tongue, the clink of silverware and murmur of elite conversations surrounding them, evolved into after-hours drinks at speakeasies like PDT, hidden behind phone booths and hot dog joints, the air redolent with grilled meat and secrecy. Victoria opened up about her past. An immigrant from Warsaw, Poland, who had clawed her way through scholarships and night shifts, her heart scarred by a controlling ex-fiancé who dismissed her dreams, his cologne a cloying musk she still wrinkled her nose at in memory. I won't let anyone hold me back again, she'd say, her eyes fierce under the dim bar lights, her fingers tracing the rim of her glass, leaving faint smudges. Alex, in turn, confided his own vulnerabilities. The crushing weight of expectations, the midlife ennui that made him question if this was all there was, his voice dropping low amid the jazz saxophone's sultry wail. Elena's my rock, he'd admit, staring into his whiskey, the amber liquid burning smoothly down his throat, but sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions. The thrill's gone. Victoria listened with empathetic nods, her hand occasionally resting on his arm, a gesture that blurred professional boundaries, her touch light yet lingering like a promise. Elena sensed the shift, though she couldn't pinpoint it, the air in the brownstone growing stale with unspoken doubts. Alex's distractions grew, he'd zone out during the twins' bedtime stories, the pages of their favorite books crinkling under small fingers, their voices high and eager. His phone vibrated with urgent notifications, a persistent buzz like an angry bee. One evening, as she prepared a family lasagna, his favorite, the kitchen filled with the rich, savory aroma of bubbling tomato sauce and melting mozzarella, she found a stray earring in his suit pocket, a delicate silver hoop not her style, cool and foreign against her palm. Her stomach twisted, a sour bile rising, but she shoved it aside. Probably from a client meeting, she rationalized, forcing a smile as he arrived late, his tie askew, the faint trace of jasmine clinging to his collar like a betrayal. The affair crystallized on a stormy Thursday in October, the kind of night where thunderclaps echoed like judgments from above, rattling windows and shaking the soul. The team had secured a pivotal motion to suppress evidence, a coup that had the opposition reeling, the courtroom air thick with the scent of polished wood and nervous sweat. Celebrations erupted at the Standard's rooftop bar, where champagne flowed like rain from the darkened skies, its effervescent bubbles tickling the nose, the cork popped sharp and celebratory. As the crowd thinned, Alex and Victoria found themselves isolated in a velvet booth, the fabric plush under their thighs, the cityscape blurred by sheets of water on the glass, the rain's rhythmic patter a hypnotic drum. You were brilliant in court today, Victoria murmured, her knee pressing against his under the table, warm and insistent through the fabric of his slacks. Her perfume enveloped him, a heady mix of jasmine and sandalwood that made his head spin. Alex's pulse raced, a forbidden adrenaline surging, his skin flushing hot. We make a hell of a team. His hand found hers, fingers intertwining in the shadows, her palm soft and yielding. The cab ride to her Soho loft was charged with anticipation, rain drumming on the roof like an accusatory heartbeat, the leather seat slick and cool. The door barely latched before they were upon each other. Kisses frantic, tasting of champagne's tart fizz, hands exploring with urgent need, nails scraping lightly over skin. Victoria's loft, a minimalist space with exposed beams rough to the touch and abstract art splashed with bold colors, became their sanctuary, the air growing heavy with the musky scent of desire. They tumbled onto her platform bed, sheets twisting around them, cool cotton warming quickly. As passion consumed, her breath hot against his neck, moans mingling with the storm's roar outside. For Alex, it was escape, rejuvenation. He felt 20 years younger, alive in ways his marriage no longer provided, the taste of her skin salty and sweet. But dawn's light brought the harsh glare of reality, the sun piercing through curtains like a spotlight, the air now stale with spent passion. Alex slipped out before Victoria stirred, hailing a cab back to the brownstone, the engines hum a guilty lullaby. Elena was already up, brewing coffee in her robe, the rich, nutty aroma filling the kitchen. "Another all-nighter?" she asked, concern etching her features, her voice soft but edged with worry. "Case breakthrough. Couldn't be helped." He pecked her cheek, the lie tasting bitter like overbrewed espresso. Guilt gnawed at him, a sharp pang in his gut, but the high of the affair proved addictive, a rush like caffeine surging through veins. Encounters escalated, stolen lunches in Central Park, where they'd feed ducks between kisses, the bread crumbs soft and crumbling, the pond's water rippling with quacks, weekend conferences, in upstate bed and breakfasts, disguised as business trips, the rustic rooms scented with pine and crackling fireplaces. At the firm, suspicions brewed, the coffee machines gurgle underscoring whispered conversations. Junior associates exchanged knowing glances during board meetings, the air-conditioned chill raising goosebumps. Marcus Thorne, Alex's grizzled partner and former mentor, pulled him aside in the hallway one afternoon, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. "Word's getting around, Alex. That new associate, Victoria. Be smart. I've lost count of how many careers I've seen torpedoed by office flings. Think of Elena, the kids." His breath carried the minty sharpness of gum. Alex feigned indignation, his heart pounding like a gavel. "It's nothing like that, Marcus. We're just buried in the Technova case." But paranoia set in. He varied their meeting spots, used burner apps for texts that chimed softly. Victoria thrived on the secrecy, calling it our little rebellion against the establishment, her laughter a melodic tinkle. Elena's unease mounted, the brownstone's walls seeming to close in, the creak of floorboards underfoot amplifying her isolation. The twins noticed too. Sophia, with her mother's intuition, asked, "Why is Daddy always on his phone?" her small voice piercing like a needle, while Lucas grumbled about missed soccer games, the grass stains on his knees a testament to his energy. Elena threw herself into her art, her studio a refuge where she slashed canvases with bold strokes, the bristles whispering against fabric, paint splattering like blood, channeling unspoken fears into explosions of color that dried tacky to the touch. One night, unable to sleep, the sheets tangled and damp with sweat, she scrolled through Alex's unlocked phone while he showered, the steam carrying the soapy scent of his shampoo. Coded messages from V, "Can't wait for our meeting tonight. Wear that tie I like." Hearts, winks, hotel addresses. The world spun, a wave of nausea hit, sour in her mouth. She confronted him that instant, her voice rising over the water's rush. "You're cheating." Her voice cracked like thunder, tears streaming hot down her cheeks as he emerged, towel-clad, droplets beating on his skin. Alex's face drained of color, the air thick with humidity. "Elena, let me explain." "Explain? With who? How long?" The interrogation was merciless, her curator's eye for detail turning on him like a spotlight, her nails digging into her palms. He crumbled, detailing the affair in halting confessions, the attraction, the excitement, the regret, his voice breaking, hands trembling. "It's over. I swear. I love you." But love couldn't mend the shatter, the room spinning with the scent of betrayal. Elena's rage was volcanic. She hurled a vase, its shards scattering like glass rain, sharp underfoot, the floral water spilling in a pungent puddle. "You've destroyed us." "For what?" a younger model. "Get out." Her screams echoed, raw in her throat. The fallout was cataclysmic, the divorce papers served with the crisp snap of legal binding, the ink's faint chemical smell lingering. Elena filed the next day, enlisting Rebecca Klein, a formidable attorney known for dismantling unfaithful husbands in court, her office scented with leather and determination. The proceedings were a spectacle, custody hearings where the twins' welfare was dissected amid the stuffy air of wood-paneled rooms, asset divisions exposing Alex's extravagances, thousands funneled to Victoria via firm expenses, receipts crinkling like accusations. Headlines in the New York Post screamed, "Top lawyer's steamy affair rocks firm," the newsprint smudging fingers, clients fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. Hargrove and Associates convened an emergency board meeting, the conference table's polish reflecting tense faces, coffee cups steaming. "This is a PR nightmare," the managing partner barked, his voice booming. Alex was demoted, his office stripped, the echo of boxes being packed a hollow thud, relegated to menial tasks in a cubicle that smelled of stale carpet. Victoria, sensing the tide turning, severed ties with cold efficiency, her final text a digital chill, "Fun while it lasted, but I won't go down with you," the screen's glow harsh. Whispers suggested she'd parlayed their insider knowledge into a lateral move at a competitor firm, her career unscathed, heels clicking away. The twins were collateral damage, their small bodies tense. Sophia withdrew, her grades slipping as she buried herself in fantasy novels, the pages whispering as she turned them, escaping a reality too painful, her tears soaking pillows. Lucas acted out, picking fights at school, his knuckles bruised, grass and dirt clinging to his clothes, his anger a mirror of Elena's, hot and explosive. Joint therapy sessions were raw. "You lied to everyone, Dad," Lucas accused, tears streaking his face, the room's air-conditioned coolness doing nothing to ease the heat of emotion. Alex spiraled into despair, the nights long and silent. Alone in a cramped midtown studio, bare bulbs casting harsh shadows, microwave dinners beeping with synthetic aromas, he drowned in scotch, the liquid burning fiery down his throat, replaying memories that tasted like ash. Flashbacks haunted him. His own childhood in Chicago, where his father's infidelity had torn the family apart, the courtroom's musty air and gavel's sharp crack leaving scars, the custody battle's bitter arguments echoing. Rock bottom came with a DUI crash into a parked car, the metal screeching, glass shattering in a crystalline rain, sirens wailing piercingly as handcuffs clicked cold and unyielding. Rehab followed. 30 days of group therapy in sterile rooms scented with institutional cleaner, confessions echoing like whispers in a confessional. "Infidelity isn't just sex," his counselor said, voice steady. "It's betrayal of self." Sober, Alex rebuilt piecemeal, pro bono work at a legal aid clinic, the fluorescent lights buzzing, helping betrayed spouses navigate the system he once exploited, their stories raw and salty with tears. Elena, meanwhile, flourished like a flower in sunlight, her skin glowing. She reopened her gallery in Chelsea, her Fractured Bonds series, a visceral exploration of betrayal, drawing rave reviews and collectors, the varnish's glossy sheen reflecting admirers' faces, critics hailing her as the voice of modern heartbreak, amid the clink of wine glasses and murmurs of appreciation. She joined support groups, bonding with other women over shared scars, their stories weaving a tapestry of resilience, the room warmed by shared coffee and empathy. Dating crept in tentatively, tentative touches and soft laughs. Thomas, a soft-spoken architect with kind hazel eyes that crinkled at the corners, entered her life at a gallery opening, the air buzzing with chatter and the pop of corks. "Your work speaks volumes," he said, handing her a flute of champagne, its bubbles fizzing coldly against her lips. Their courtship was gentle, walks in Central Park, where leaves crunched underfoot like old regrets, the autumn air crisp with fallen foliage, dinners where laughter replaced tears, flavors exploding on the tongue. 2 years post-divorce, fates intertwined at the twins' 12th birthday party in the Brownstones' garden, the air sweet with barbecue smoke and cake frosting. Alex arrived bearing gifts, a telescope for Lucas's astronomy obsession, its metal cool and promising stars, art supplies for Sophia, brushes soft and paints vibrant. Tension hung thick like humidity, but civility prevailed for the children's sake, balloons popping sporadically. As candles flickered on the cake, their wax dripping slowly, Elena pulled Alex aside under the wisteria arbor, its blooms heavy and fragrant. "You're looking better," she noted, her tone neutral, the breeze rustling leaves. "Clean living," he replied, eyes downcast, the grass soft under his shoes. "Elena, I don't." She held up a hand, her ringless finger a stark reminder. "We've moved on. The kids need you as a father, not a husband." He nodded, throat tight with unshed emotion. Later, watching Thomas tousle Lucas's hair, jealousy flared briefly, a hot twist in his gut, then faded like dying embers. Alex had chased illusions, losing substance, the regret bitter on his tongue. Yet, temptation lingered, a whisper in the wind. Months later, a late-night email from Victoria, "Missed the thrill. One last case." The cursor blinked mockingly, her words evoking the ghost of Jasmine. He hovered over reply, fingers trembling on the keys, before deleting it with a decisive click. Redemption was fragile, but he clung to it, the city's lights twinkling like distant hopes. In the city's endless churn, the honks, the scents, the ceaseless motion, Alex taught ethics at a local law school, his lectures laced with personal caution, the chalk dust dry on his fingers. "Loyalty isn't optional," he'd say, voice steady amid the scratch of pens. Sophia attended one, pride in her eyes, her applause warm. The cheating lawyer had fallen, but in the depths, he glimpsed rise, senses sharpened by loss.